What is happening, everybody? All right, so a buddy of mine, Adam, sent me an article by Mopar Insiders that was basically outlining all of the upcoming stage kits for not only the supercharged variants, in other words, Hellcats and Red Eyes through direct connection, but also the to be determined stage kits for the RT392. Let's start off with a little bit of confusion. At least that's what I got out of this list that was sent over to me, again, through Mopar Insiders. But I will, I guess, take this to mean that the RT and the 392 will both have stage kits. At the filming of this video, those performance values are still yet to be determined. And also, they do not have executive orders for CARB compliance yet. So, without any other news, how can we speculate as to what we'll get out of these things? Well, so far, we would have to assume that you're going to have a controller just like you have with the Hellcat variants. Also, you would have to figure that they're going to have some type of a tune, whether it's engine and transmission, whatever the case is for these cars. It's been my experience with the 392 in particular, because we'll just call it 392 without trying to get too muddied into mixing into 5.7s on this. But dragging a whole lot more power out of a stock cam, stock manifold, stock catalytic converter 392 is going to be a little bit difficult. And about the best that I've seen is 15, maybe 20 horsepower to the rear wheels on a Mustang dyno or an eddy current dyno. But the big gains are made in transmission tuning, and that's where I made all of my gains. But keep in mind, that is after months and months of taking that car to the drag strip and just whittling everything down to the nth degree. That's not just in shift points, but in torque management and spark modifiers and doing a lot of things to the tune that, quite frankly, the original equipment manufacturer may find a little bit sketch in terms of honoring a warranty for. So, how are they going to eke any more power or any more performance out of the 392 if it's only a tune? Well, it won't be much, but it'll at least get you in the door for potentially supercharging. This is where I think they're going to end up going with this. In my opinion, it's going to be way too difficult to get aftermarket camshafts passed through California Air Resource Board. It's just more than likely not going to happen, or at least not worth the money. But there are supercharger companies that already have 50 state legal superchargers or have been able to get 50 state legal certifications on their kits for other brands. So getting that laterally handled for Mopar shouldn't be that big of an issue. You keep the stock cam, larger injectors and supercharging does nothing to harm emissions at cruise or at idle, so big up over the cammed options, plus you're going to make a significant number better than a cam only combination with a supercharger. Now, which superchargers would you look at? Well, you've got the E-Force from Edelbrock, which is a Magnuson 2650. You've got ProCharger, which may be able to make it in there as well. But the reality is that that is about as far and that is about as little as you can do at the same time to get any more power out of these cars. The scary part of this, though, is in the warrantability of this. And if somebody is going to have one of these kits on their cars, will Mopar really warrant them considering some of the issues the aftermarket has had with supercharging? Well, I can tell you this. If they're going to offer it with a warranty, believe me when I tell you, they're going to have provisions mechanically and in the software to make sure that you don't mess with the setup that they have. Think of this a lot like the Roush Mustangs. And that'll give you an idea in terms of encryption and making sure that everything is above board. If somebody tries to get a little cheeky with pulleys or whatnot with these kits, you're going to find yourself in a situation where they've already thought of those hacks and will have, let's just call them fixes in place before the problem happens. Now then, what about for the guys that are looking to, I don't know, carry these cars any farther than what they've got from the direct connection stage kits? Well, I don't know that you're going to be able to. I think the power output is going to be limited based on 91 octane availability and, well, to be honest with you, the nannies that are going to be in place along the way. If they do go the supercharger route, eking any more power out of that thing is going to be pretty tough to do. But would you want to do it anyway? And at what cost will this come? The reason why I'm thinking that guys that get these kits installed may not want to do anything to the kit itself to try to drag more power out of it is because if the cost has anything to do with what the aftermarket manufacturer cost for labor, the kit, the install, and everything else, you're probably going to be looking at somewhere around $8,000 to $10,000. That's going to be a pretty heavy price to pay. But the bigger price to pay is going to be you're still looking up at the Hellcat in terms of performance, and now your cost difference, if the kit is, say, $10,000 on a $45,000 car, puts you at $55,000, and that is being unimaginably liberal with that number. A conservative number would really put that number closer to 12 or 14, given my experience with the aftermarket. You're looking at a dollar figure that puts you scarily close to a Hellcat. A Hellcat that will offer a very strong driving experience, be considerably more durable, if that means anything. We are talking about what could be presumed to be a warrantable combination coming from direct connection, but let's be real. A Hellcat is always going to be a Hellcat versus a modified 392. So when you look at it from that perspective, will anybody even buy those kits? And I know that's a long way to get to making that point, but I had to set the table up for you. Would you buy the kit? If you had a price of $45,000 for your Scat Pack and a cost of $12,000 for a supercharger kit that would come with a warranty that would bump your car from 475 to 575 horsepower, would you take it? I mean, that's a $10,000 bill, a $12,000 bill, depending on how it comes, puts you still right in the middle of 392 in Hellcat. The value at 12 grand might be there. But again, you're still not there in terms of power. And again, you've got to remember that this is going to be a supercharger kit, although not unlike what you see from the aftermarket, because that's where it would presumably come from, unless they do something really cool and offer the IHI supercharger off of the Hellcat. That would be really cool. It'd be neat looking, but the result wouldn't change. The fact of the matter is that you're still dealing with an engine with significantly higher compression than the Hellcat. Boost is going to have to be kept to a minimum because of that, and it's going to have to deal with 91 octane, and it's going to have every nanny that you could possibly conceive of that the OE can put on the thing to make sure that it holds together, again, with 91 octane. Now, I'm just speculating here, obviously, because no specifications have been leaked and everything is still TBD. And I'm hoping that we get some noise on this soon. And I would also like to see something as far as rear gear options, some kind of a driveline upgrade for the 392 guys. But there's no noise on that either. So again, we're left only to speculate. My heart wants there to be stage 1 rear gear option, stage 2 supercharging. How neat would that be? It would allow every 392 owner with a Scat Pack to be able to put a drag pack on their car, take that thing to the drag strip, and have, if it's a 327 or a 331 gear, you would be able to comfortably run low 11s in most density altitude that would not carry you much over 1,800 feet, for example. You would comfortably run those kinds of numbers. With the supercharger and the gear, you could probably put that thing into the high 10s pretty easily. 1070, 1060 puts you right on par with a stock Hellcat. What would be cooler than that? 5 pounds of boost out of a pick your compressor type of a supercharger with a 331 gear. Yeah, now we're talking about a viable kit. Now we're talking about something that you can market, and now we're talking about something that's got a little bit of sexy to it. The rear gear, the booty, the blower, the rack. Now we're talking about something that's nice. Got it busting on both ends. Mopar, don't let me down, baby. Direct connection. Bring me back into the fold. If you can make something like that happen, for the NA guys, the gear, and for the guys that want to boost it, something to handle that up front, and all the goodies in between to keep it robust, that would be sick to death. But only time will tell. We'll see how dedicated Direct Connection is to those 392 guys. And with that, post up your comments. Let me know what you think is coming. And that's a wrap. Y'all have a great one.